Hello Database, this is just an impromptu news video I'm doing really quick. We got a lot of new cool announcements from DC and WB in the last week. The most exciting to us data boys being on screen right here obviously, but I'm going to talk about all of them really quickly. We got a trailer for Batman The Long Halloween Part 2, looks pretty cool. The first part's not even out yet, but it's neat to see that both of them are basically ready to go. I'm very excited to see this movie. We got an announcement that the Batgirl movie is back on, not with Joss Whedon this time. Not really a lot of info on it yet, but definitely something I'm looking forward to as well. Injustice Gods Among Us animated movie has been announced. Was not expecting this at all, but pretty cool. Yeah, overused evil Superman, whatever. I'm gonna watch it. Harley Quinn Season 3 is coming either later this year or early next year, according to the creators of that show. And we've got this My Adventures with Superman animated series coming soon. Jack Quaid from The Boys voicing Clark Kent, Superman. All of this is really cool, but of course, the thing that has me most excited is this Batman Caped Crusader animated series coming from HBO Max and Cartoon Network. I don't know if from means it's going to be on those networks. We literally know nothing about the place it will air, the day it will air, who's voicing anybody in this. There's really been nothing released except that it is being produced by Timm, off to a good start, and executive produced by J Abrams and Matt Reeves, who I'm sure are names you will recognize. J Abrams, of course, comes to mind most recently for me for the Star Trek and Star Wars continuation reboots, whatever. He was also part of Lost back in the day, and he's a producer on a bunch of upcoming DC live-action movies, including the next Superman movie and a Justice League Dark live-action series that is supposedly in production. DC is very famous at this point for just announcing things that are happening and then never actually making them, so we'll see if that actually happens. Interestingly, J Abrams recently said that he doesn't have any interest in directing any of the projects that his production company Bad Robot is producing for DC, so it'll be interesting to see how much he is actually directly involved with this animated series. Then we've also, of course, got Matt Reeves on board. He's the director of the upcoming The Batman movie starring Robert Pattinson, and he was also the director of all of those Blink of the Planet of the Apes movies from the last few years. What's kind of strange to me about this is that Timm and Kevin Altieri and those guys working on Batman the Animated Series when it was in pre-production were very against the idea of Tim Burton being involved. They didn't want him to be meddling with the style and tone of the show. Obviously, they were basing it on his movies to start with, but they wanted to have complete control of what was going on. So the fact that Timm is part of this, but also these like household Hollywood names, J Abrams and Matt Reeves, like I'm interested to see how directly involved they'll be with the aesthetic of the show, or if they're just going to be the names attached for coolness factor. I guess we'll just find out. I know a lot of people are anti-J Abrams, go, oh, he ruined Star Wars and Star Trek. And I like old Star Wars and Star Trek. I like new Star Wars and Star Trek. You can like both. It's okay. You can just like things. It's fine. So JJ himself said, "We are beyond excited to be working together to bring this character back to tell engrossing new stories in Gotham City. The series will be thrilling, cinematic, and evocative of Batman's noir roots while diving deeper into the psychology of these iconic characters. We cannot wait to share this new world." Emphasis on new world. We don't know yet if this is attached to Batman the Animated Series' continuity or if it's just going to be in a similar art style. No idea what's going on exactly yet. This quote from Sam Register, who's the president of Warner Brothers Animation. He was all the way back in Justice League Unlimited time as well. He says, "Batman the Animated Series was a masterpiece that shaped the perception of the character for an entire generation of fans. It is in that spirit that we are bringing together three master storytellers in JJ, Matt, and Bruce, each with their own intuitive understanding and affection for the character, to create a new series that will continue in the same groundbreaking legacy." Again, kind of vague booking the attachment to BTAS or lack thereof. Will this be more BTAS or will this just be a Timm style new Batman animated series? The press release, interestingly, says, "Utilizing state-of-the-art animation techniques and technologies available, this powerful creative partnership will once again reinvent Batman and his iconic rogues gallery with sophisticated storytelling, nuanced characters, and intense action sequences, all set in a visually striking world." The state-of-the-art animation technique bit has me a little bit concerned that it's going to be that kind of meshing of cel-shaded animation, CGI kind of stuff that we see in big monsters in anime or the Batman Ninja movie recently. I'm not a huge fan of that look, so that has me a little bit wary, but if the look is styled at all after this particular promo image, that'll be fine with me. Hand-drawn traditional animation, it's my bread and butter, yes please. So like I said, it's not clear whether this is more Batman the Animated Series literally, or just kind of in the same vein. This part of the article from The Hollywood Reporter, "For Timm, the project is a return to an animated world he helped establish with 1995's acclaimed Batman the Animated Series, putting a aside that 1995 is actually the year it ended, this is the most BTAS inclusive statement from any of this stuff, but it should be taken with a grain of salt. These types of news reports, they're definitely more in tune with how they want public perception to be of these sorts of things. These types of outlets do not cater to the people such as us that go ad nauseum into the DCAU timeline and all the will it canon, all that stuff. They just care about making sure that you know this is from the same minds, that kind of stuff. So all very vague, like I said, but it's still all very exciting. Looking at this promo image in particular, we have a very 1930s kind of original Batman looking style here. We've got the same kind of like horned ears going on, looking down over a smoky city. Very, very strikingly similar to that sort of imagery. Also very similar to Bruce Timm's 2014 Batman Strange Days animated short that came out for the Batman 75th anniversary. Behind the scenes, Timm also talked about how he'd always wanted to do like a black and white noir 30s set Batman show. So this may be the kind of style that we can look forward to. I have no idea. Nobody has any idea yet. You know, will he have these little purple gloves? Will he have meshing of Batman the Animated Series / Justice League look to him? That kind of 30s look like this image invokes. I'm a big fan of what this looks like. If we got a whole animated series of this, I would be a happy camper. So yeah, very similar looks in these, but also very similar, of course, to the Batman the Animated Series logo with the cape swoosh and all that kind of thing going on, and the moon and what have you, as well as the font down here for Caped Crusader is the same font, it seems, as Batman here, and the Adventures of Batman and Robin logo is this same font as well, or very similar. Also very similar to this cover for Duel to the Death, which was a BTAS tie-in novel. You know, same kind of deal with him looking over the city, smoky atmosphere, all that kind of stuff, the moon. It's a pretty easy position to put Batman in. Definitely gets you in that BTAS mindset. Also kind of reminds me of Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia, which was one of my favorite segments of Fantasia as a kid, probably because he looked like Batman. If we were to assume that this was DCAU and try to understand where it might fit into the continuity, it makes the most sense to me to be taking place after we see Bruce putting on the suit in the Mask of the Phantasm flashbacks, but before the bulk of BTAS itself. There's like a whole decade of time in there, a lot of stories that you could tell. Doesn't necessarily mean I need them to be told. There's plenty of other DCAU revival stuff going on right now. I'm getting my fix. It's fine. This doesn't have to be more DCAU. I will still watch it, I'm sure. If this does wind up being DCAU, of course we're going to be covering every frickin' single episode of this, doing all sorts of dives into this. We've already got plenty on our plate coming up with more Batman the Adventures Continue issues and Justice League Infinity and all that stuff. This seems to be something that's probably not far along enough yet that it's going to be coming out this year. I'm going to assume 2022 or maybe early 2023. It's not really known yet. Hopefully we'll get more information soon. We will of course let you know when we do. So either way, extremely excited about this. I can kind of see this in the same reimagining style as like 70s Battlestar Galactica versus 2000s Battlestar Galactica. They're taking the same DNA but reworking it into something completely new, something we've never seen before. I'm very excited to see what that is. The last Batman animated series that we got was 8-9 years ago with Beware the Batman, which was met with mixed reception, and then of course Batman Brave and the Bold before that, and then the DCAU before that. So I think WB knows what it's doing by putting you in the BTAS mindset, but it's still up in the air whether it is literally more BTAS. Are you excited about this, and who would you like to see voice Batman in this cartoon? Kevin Conroy is the obvious choice, but to help separate it from the DCAU even more might work best. Tell me what you think below. Do all the YouTube stuff, like this video, subscribe. I will see you on Sunday. We're interviewing writer and producer Rich Fogel. He worked on Justice League, Batman Beyond, the Zeta Project, a little bit of Zeta Project in there. So get pumped for all the stuff and kiss your dads and whatever. Bye.